Hello, welcome to my office. Actually, you've never been in here before, and if you're not new here, welcome back. My name is Becky and I make videos about sewing, books, disability and just my life in general. It is now August and I know for some people that still means the height of summer, but quite frankly I'm a little bit done with it. I don't like being too hot, I struggle with summer dressing, I hate wasps, and I'm ready for it to be spooky. If you fancy sticking around, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I don't do this as my full-time job, but I do try and make videos relatively regularly. If you like a bit of Halloween, a bit of autumn, it's definitely going to be worth sticking around. Before I go any further, I think we need to change a few things. I'm just going to give this a go and see if it works. Much better. What's the first autumn, Halloween, horror thing that you choose to watch at this time of year? Mine is either Practical Magic or Hocus Pocus. And yes, I know I'm a massive child, but I love it, I don't care. So yeah, let me know what yours is in the comments. I would love to know. I normally at this time of year I compile a list of films that I want to watch between now and Halloween itself. I did try and convince Alex that the sooner we start watching them, the less he has to watch in a concentrated burst, because last year we did basically 30 days of Halloween films because we were in lockdown, there wasn't much to do. I think it drove him a little bit mad. I loved it, but you know. As I said, I'm trying to be a little bit trendy today, but also eco-friendly. By trendy, what I mean is this pattern here. This is the McCall's M7974. I bought it a while ago because I thought it looked like the strawberry dress. It's very cottagecore, it's got the big poofy sleeves. I really like the fact that it's buttoned down and that I can adjust it for my shoulders. Basically I wanted to use some fabric I already had. So what I've got here, an old tablecloth and an old bit of fabric that looks very 1960s. And what I want to do is use this for the lining and this for the main part of the dress. It reminds me of pumpkin patches. It's orange. You can see that it's tablecloth because you've got this round hem. This used to go on an oval table. The one problem with using second-hand recycled fabrics is that you can't decide how much you've got. You can't buy a specific amount. This is how much you've got and you've got to make it work. Yeah, as with all of my sewing projects, something went wrong. But what I enjoy is the challenge, so we'll just see what happens. So every good story starts with a problem. I'm hoping you can hear me, otherwise I'm going to have to overdub this. My problem is this little scrap of fabric. I wanted to make a dress out of a tablecloth, which is always a bad idea, and of course there's not enough fabric. So I'm at the rag market in Birmingham trying to match this. I've come out empty-handed, and to add insult to injury, it's tipping it down with rain, so by the time I get home I'm going to be soaked. But I guess that serves me right for trying to make a dress out of an old tablecloth. It just wasn't going to work, so we'll go back to the drawing board and I will see you back at home. I feel like I'm in that bit from The Princess Diaries where she goes, "I'm being punished." I will say, I do feel slightly vindicated in feeling a bit spooky because this is not August weather. I'm still outside, kind of enjoying it. the poorest choice of footwear ever. Just going to interject here and say that stuff that is in mint condition should not be chopped up and made into something else. I am using that bit of fabric because it has pen stains on it. If it's in mint condition, it should not be chopped up. Either you should wear it, or if it's very, very old, then it should be in a preservation archival box, being very carefully looked after. However, if something has reached the end of its natural lifespan as the thing that it is, I think it's really cool that we can then adjust or completely transform something to make it into something else that we can continue using and loving. Be it a top, a skirt, pyjamas, if it's a little bit more damaged, right through to little cotton rounds that you can use to wipe your face with, pet blankets, all of that kind of thing. I am firmly of the belief that we have enough fabric and clothes on this planet as it is, and I'm starting to come around to the idea of not only shopping on Depop, which is where I got this, but also doing more with what we already have. So I really hope that this video inspires you to maybe have a go with this. I would also like to have a go at doing something a little bit more ambitious. Given that I can't do the project I wanted to do today, maybe I can look for a slightly bigger bit of second-hand fabric, thrift some stuff, find some netting maybe, and do something full scale with this. But hey, at least what I've done now is I've practiced the top bit. And let me tell you, the bit that you're about to watch is me trying to decipher the runes that are this pattern. It's not the easiest thing in the world, and I'm kind of glad that I get a practice run at it. Gross. I'm going to clean that before I do anything else. Okay, so here is said front and back bodice. That's the yoke. That's the front. I've put gathering stitches all along here and all up the top, which you can see I have pinned along the shoulder seam. I have to admit, the instructions are pretty cryptic. I'm doing what I think they mean. I have no idea if this is correct or not, but I've done a double thickness, so I've got the fashion fabric on one side and then I've got the lining on the other side. Tell me it's a pandemic without telling me it's a pandemic. So what is going under here right now is the front bodice top and the yoke. I've gathered it, you've got 2 lines of gathering stitches, pinned it, and I'm just going to stitch along the seam allowance now. I hate gathers, Don't know why I did this project. Wish me luck. Mirror selfie time. So, what we've got currently is the shoulders sitting here at the top, but then this seam here actually needs to be here even. But that means this seam has come forward. Exactly the same on the other side. I need to lengthen this section whilst keeping this back here. Now I reckon you can see this is, if my thumb is where fabric's supposed to be, we've got quite a lot to deal with. So I'm going to look at the pattern and I'm going to work out how to adjust this. But I think it's going to be a big unpicking job, unfortunately. Alas, larger boobed people will understand. But also, if you look, we can't have it here because then the sleeve holes don't work. We need it down here. So just to confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is definitely, excuse me madam, I'm very sorry, under boob, not on boob, which would be there. Right. Alex is making carbonara in the background. So this, it shouldn't be this way around. It shouldn't be that you have to do the thing to work out what the instructions mean and therefore that you've done it wrong. But that's where we are with this. And I'm not going to do what they do on the sewing bee, which is undo it and do it all perfectly. I'm too stubborn. So I've started doing it correctly now. And I'm just going to unpick a little bit of that seam there and just tuck this in. And that will be fine. I've decided that that will be fine. One day, and I hope it will be a day relatively soon, I will decide that my sense of style is simply things that don't have sleeves, and then my life will be much easier and probably much happier. Vlogging Becky here to tell you that in no uncertain terms will I be sewing this to this with a sewing machine. I'm going to do it by hand because I can't do it with a machine. It's going to be too fiddly. We're not doing it. We're going to attach those by hand. It is day 3. It's the final day of sewing. I'm so nearly done. My house is a mess. I'm a mess. But all I've got to do before I can show you the finished product, I don't like that actually, the finished top, is some top stitching and some hooks and eyes. And then it's done. So this is the finished product. But I say finished, it's as this is currently pinned together. There are little hook and eye fastenings, but I think they're slightly too far apart, so I need to come up with a better solution for keeping this closed. Having pins in the front of it, like some kind of mantua, probably not the safest thing in the world. Although that's a candle. Look how cute this is. A white woman's Instagram. I'm actually going to blow it out now because I can see this little bit around the top's getting quite like, yeah, Ooh. First of all, I'm going to tell you what went well. The sleeves. I'm getting so much better at setting sleeves. This was actually one of the easiest bits of this project. I had to hand sew the little cuffs on. They could be a little bit tighter, is what I will say about the sleeves. Other things that went well, my adjustments to the front, much better. I think if I try to do this again, or maybe if I try to make the full dress, I would be able to do this much quicker. The instructions were so cryptic. They were just impossible. It was like trying to read hieroglyphs, runes, I don't know. I feel like with instructions, you should be able to understand what they mean rather than do the thing, get it wrong, then work out what the instructions actually meant. This video is nothing if not an advert for doing mock-ups, because you get all those teething problems out of the way. And I'm kind of seeing this as a mock-up for maybe doing the full dress. Oh, one other thing to mention that actually has gone quite well. Actually, two things. The pattern matching down here, if this is actually tight to the body, it's pretty bang on. So I'm pleased with that, although that was totally not intentional at all. And the other thing is, so I was worried that this line here, and when I was making the adjustments, that this was supposed to sit up here. Turns out that the yoke actually is supposed to come down a bit further and sit kind of across your collarbone. So on me that would be here. I know for next time, and I'm putting this on record now in case I decide to make this dress, the yoke, or this front bit, the yoke needs to have a bit of extra at the top, maybe an inch or so, as does this piece, so that it sits under my boobs rather than halfway up. Things that didn't go so well. Doing the yoke lining and the inside lining. It looks nice now, but it was definitely a bit of a botched job, and I would prefer to do it slightly differently. I prefer to do it the proper way, so I will do that next time. And of course we had the issue with not having enough fabric, which means that this is a top, not a dress. Let's talk about gathers for a second. I hate them. I'm not sure how you're meant to do them like neatly and evenly. I think that's going to take a lot more practice. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I have to admit, when you wear it without the vest top, it's quite booby. I think this could be worn as a summer top or an autumn top. As you can see, I'm wearing a little top under it, and I think that works quite well. You could wear it with boots and tights and a jumper and make it, you know, autumnal, a big coat. Or at the moment it feels quite summery. I'm pretty happy with that. The next project I do is going to be the simplest thing I possibly can do, because this had a lot of things in it that I hadn't done before, and I now need something that's just easy. Easy peasy, squeeze the lemon, done. I'm coming back with this on just to close the video for you. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm really excited to get into autumn now. It is a gloriously sunny day now, so I'm going to go for a walk and take the photos of this that you have already seen. Hey, you know, if you give this pattern a go. M7974 McCalls. Let me know how you got on, and let me know how you did these, because they are posing me a little quandary. I will see you all very soon. Now I'm just waiting for it to be pumpkin spiced and everything will be. Gosh, I'm really not. Ugh, clean your mirror, Becky.